computer, waiting to be programmed, can't you tell? Perhaps at GDC someone will code me. Maybe Team Ninja. I have a big crush on Itagaki, but with all my IMs unanswered, I guess maybe he's dead. So I keep on waiting for someone to love me, cause my owner does nothing but watch G4 TV. And I spend the night alone, waiting for someone to phone. But maybe there's love at GDC. With all these developers, I'm sure someone could use my specs. Even though I'm not quad-core or dual, you can use my parts to make a new game. Even work on bit, I really no shame. I'll do this and more. I'll even go down on sport, so I put it in the GDC. I'll do anything to be in GDC. Adam and Morgan put me on GDC. GDC. GDC.
X-Play, the center of the gaming universe.
On today's X-Play, we're in San Francisco to bring you every moment at the Game Developers Conference. Adam and Morgan log some FaceTime with Dennis Dyack and Silicon Knights as we take an exclusive look at Too Human. Then, we reshape the battlefield as we demo LucasArts' future Civil War epic, Fracture. Bucker up, it's game time.
Hello and welcome to X-Play, TV's most watched video game show. I'm Adam Sessler.
And I'm Morgan Webb. It is Tuesday, February 19th, and we are coming to you from the Moscone Center in San Francisco, home to the 2008 Game Developers Conference.
All this week, we're bringing you world premiere hands-on demos, interviews with the biggest names in gaming, and all of the latest breaking video game news. We'll dispel any rumors and, of course, hit up our favorite developers for free drinks.
But most importantly, we've got games and plenty of them.
On today's show, X-Play's got world premiere footage of Too Human with Silicon Knights' head honcho, Dennis Dyack. And we got an exclusive look at the new facial technology in GTA 4 and Metal Gear Solid 4.
We're also going to go hands-on with an X-Play exclusive that makes destructible environments and Civil War's enjoyable family fun in LucasArts' new action title, Fracture.
Plus, we've got the broadcast premiere of the new Indiana Jones Lego game. I expect that Dr. Jones will have a run-in with snakes in our all-access preview. But first, let's get the day's top headlines in our gaming update.
Days after Walmart announced that they would phase out the sale of HD DVDs, Toshiba has officially confirmed the discontinuation of their HD DVD businesses. Microsoft says their library of games is what sells their console, and therefore, they do not think the end of the format war will have any major effect on the Xbox 360. In light of this news, there are new rumors from smarthouse.com that Microsoft is prepping an external Blu-ray player that will be released in May of this year. Our Unreal Tournament and Gears of War developer Epic Games in the crosshairs of Microsoft. A rumor was sparked by an assistant editor at GamePro magazine who said Microsoft will buy Epic Games for $1 billion this summer. Epic Games VP Mark Rain has since responded to the prediction, saying he would prefer if they started at $2 billion because he doesn't want anyone thinking his company is that cheap. Microsoft tells X-Play, quote, "We do not comment on rumors and speculation." X-Play will have all the latest details regarding Microsoft's plans directly from their keynote speech on tomorrow night's show. Oh, and Castro stepped down. That is all for today's gaming update. You can always get the latest news and video game headlines on the go right on your iPod with the Gaming Update podcast, which is one of the iTunes best podcasts of 2007. Head on over to g4tv.com/podcast to subscribe. But now let's go over to Adam, who has a look at the latest from the house that George Lucas built.
Thank you, Morgan. Darn, I was going to go to the Castro tonight. Anyway, in LucasArts' Fracture, the United States is torn into two warring territories. The East relies on tech, while the West Coast is willing to alter their DNA to change their very being. Considering the popularity of Nip Tuck, this is a future that makes sense, even with the environment-altering weapons. Now it's time to go hands-on with Fracture.
Day One Studios, developers of MechAssault and Fear, have teamed up with LucasArts to create Fracture, a third-person sci-fi shooter with a twist. Players will be armed with powerful weaponry that has the ability to change and destroy the world around you, using terrain to your advantage.
Joining us today from LucasArts is Jeff Gullett. Welcome to our GDC special.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right, we saw a little bit of Fracture back last summer, but it's clearly changed. What are we now looking at?
So yeah, a lot has happened since E3. As you can see, we've got a brand new character model. This came from a lot of feedback we got. We wanted to beef him up. We wanted to make him look cooler. We've also he's got a new name now. Jet Brody is his name.
I like that
character. Yeah, we wanted to give him a new name and to go with his new look. And what you're looking at here is the new level of the game. We're still in the dried out San Francisco Bay that you saw in back at E3, but this is a new level of the game. So you can see we've got an encounter here with a Pacifican dropship that's firing down on you and your men. So we had to take care of him with the rocket launcher.
The textures I'm looking at look just really amazing compared to what we saw last. What are you doing technologically inside of this game?
We've got a lot going on. We've got a lot of dynamic lighting in this section too. As you can see all of these shadows and light that we're seeing. And then, of course, our key features are terrain deformation, which you're seeing.
What's that right there?
This is what we call the vortex grenade. This is one of probably our most powerful weapon in the game, man.
Wow.
You throw that out, it creates a swirling mass of dirt and debris. It pulls in all the physics objects in the world and then explodes when it reaches a critical mass and just flings things all over the world.
About how many weapons are we looking at in this game that are, I mean, clearly they're quite varied.
Yeah, we've got a ton of weapons. We've got basically 4 different grenade types. The vortex grenade you just saw. We've got our tectonic grenade. This is the one that raises the terrain. The subsonic grenade. This is the one that lowers it. And then we have one that we call the spike grenade, which creates a molten lava spike that juts up out of the ground. And you can use it for solving puzzles. You can also stand on top of it, ride it up as it goes up to access higher levels and, navigate the areas you wouldn't be able to get to otherwise.
Now with the ability to change the ground, I mean, this is clearly an action game, but are there going to be puzzle elements in it as well that obviously will utilize that feature of the game?
Absolutely. We've got puzzles all throughout the game, different types of puzzles, navigation puzzles, physics puzzles, all based around terrain deformation is what we're calling it. It's really the key feature of the game, and it has a number of different purposes. You can use it in combat to take cover behind, use it for navigation, for puzzle solving, as we said, and also with grenades that deform the terrain are also destructive, so you use those in combat situations as well.
What are some of the challenges of trying to develop a game like this when clearly you can just change the topography on the whim?
Yeah, it's been a big challenge, but it's also been really neat because we never know exactly what the player's going to do or where they're going to be or what the level's even going to look like at any given time. So we have to design in kind of an open way to allow the player to be able to have that as much freedom as possible, but we also need to know, what's the maximum to be able to do and be able to keep them,
right there in the game. Jeff, we're going to have to go. This game looks absolutely incredible, and summer is when we're expecting it. Yep. Thank you so much, and stay with us. We've got more from GDC 08 right after this quick break.
Coming up on X-Play, snakes. Why did it have to be snakes? We have an all-access pass to the Indiana Jones Lego game. Plus, we get some FaceTime with Dennis Dyack from Silicon Knights and find out the latest on Two Human. Stay tuned.
From the producers of Ninja Warrior comes the ultimate competition of man versus obstacle. Unbeatable Bensuke, tomorrow night at 9:30.
Welcome back to X-Play's coverage of GDC 08. Now, we've come a long way from the blocky, jagged characters in classic video games. Jungle Hunt, not so immersive. Metal Gear Solid 4 and Grand Theft Auto 4, now that's another story. Virtual people get more and more realistic every day thanks to advancements in technology and the people at Image Metrics.
Joining us is the COO of Image Metrics, Kelvin Duckett. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Welcome.
And can you tell me a little bit about what Image Metrics does?
We're providing animation for major video games, but we're doing it in a unique way. We film actors with no markers or any special equipment, and we take their performance and put it onto a character in a game.
Okay, give me just sort of the grand overview of the capturing process.
Okay, it's really simple. This is the beautiful thing. We take you, a camera, we shoot
Special
you.
camera?
No, it can be any kind of camera.
Camcorder?
Can be a camcorder.
Okay.
It could be a QuickTime video of you, and we analyze that using the Image Metrics software.
Okay.
And your performance is then transferred onto a character in a game.
And so is this the normal way that this process happens, or?
No, this is very abnormal. Usually people have to wear markers, special kind of equipment, special studios, special motion capture rigs.
Okay.
We don't use anything like that.
And so actually, who provides the actors in this situation? Are you going to provide the actors, or do the game companies provide the actors?
It's both, but here's the great thing. Because you don't need any special talent particularly, or any special experience with the equipment, any actor can do this. It's a very natural thing to do.
So do you actually need a specific shot, like a specific close-up of the shot, or can it be for further long range? I mean, how much detail do you need?
Well, your basic head and shoulders kind of shot's good, but we also capture the face when people are running around, and for that they wear a head cam, which just gets a close-up of their face, and then they've got total mobility. They can run around, throw basketballs, fight, seriously, and we're capturing their performance.
Can you make the basketballs actually go in?
Yeah, we can actually put them in the net.
I gotta do
That's
this.
different technology, though.
Do you think this is the future of facial capture, or?
I do. I think it's the future, but it's today. We've done this in over 25 games, and we're working on some very big games at the moment.
So what games have you guys worked on?
We've worked on Universal Tournament 3, Midnight Club, the Dub Edition, SOCOM, the Metal Gear series. We've worked on the Reservoir Dogs. Over 25 games to date. Yeah.
So how much detail do you actually get from the person's face? I mean, how much information do you get from analyzing the video, and how much information really is added on afterwards? You know, like how much textures and that kind of information?
We get a huge amount of information. We get so much information that current games platforms can't actually use it all. But where we do use it is in feature films, because we make feature films as well. And there we can make a photorealistic or a totally believable human being.
So you basically, what you do is you create actually the facial structure, and then who puts on the textures and creates the actual living face?
In many instances, we make the model, and we actually rig it ourselves, and then we put all the animation drivers onto it, the animation curves, and animate the whole face.
Wonderful. Now, thank you so much for stopping by. Now let's send things over to my very animated co-host, Adam Setzler.
Thanks, Morgan. Well, be sure to catch an all-new X-Play every weeknight at 8 p.m. and log on to g4tv.com/X-Play for updates on everything gaming. And stay tuned this week for exclusive GDC coverage, previews, and all the stuff you'll be talking about on message boards for months. And when X-Play returns, we have the new Indiana Jones Lego game. Then we dive into Norse mythology with our world premiere preview of Dennis Dyack's Two Humans. So, stay tuned.
Hi, it's Vince.
Welcome back to X-Play, coming to you from GDC 08 in San Francisco. Now, if you're like me, the new trailer for Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull makes you feel funny in places your bathing suit covers. Well, whatever it is, LucasArts and Traveler's Tales are hoping to capture that magic in its new Indiana Jones Lego game. And we've got an exclusive look. Well, I'm happy to be joined by Sean Storrs, and he's the producer of Lego Indiana Jones. Thanks so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
Now, the game, is it going to follow all three of the previous movies? Is it going to include Crystal Skull?
You know, I'd love to include Crystal Skull, but, you know, we're holding back on that right now. We're really focusing on the first three movies. We want to give people the same kind of in-depth introductory experience if they don't have familiarity with the license. But, yeah, you know, we can still blow out all those really signature moments.
They're so expressive, yet there's no talking. It's all pantomime. What is kind of the magic that makes those things so effective?
You know, the magic really takes place in England, where the team at Traveler's Tales, you know, they'll just sit down with it and they'll just pull this stuff out. They're so incredibly creative. They're able to do it. You know, we got some cutscenes last week, and all of a sudden, it's like the game came to life. You know, the cutscene, just the way they had animated the characters and the way they had pulled out subtle elements of the experience, it made us all look at each other and go, oh, thank God, this you know, they're delivering. This is awesome.
Now, is the gameplay going to be advanced in any way from what we're used to inside of the Star Wars games?
Oh, absolutely. One of the key things we looked at is, you know, what kind of character is Indiana Jones? You know, he's very physical. He's got the whip. He runs, jumps, grabs onto things. You know, he's always grappling, fighting.
Is there a Lego cap shop?
Absolutely. We, you know, we've got 60 playable characters in the game, wide variety. You know, it's tough to think about the indie franchise and pull out that many characters, but we really looked at them seriously and found out, you know, how can we make them all really fun, you know, and give them all sorts of different outfits to really match all the different areas in the movie. So, you know, you'll see them, and if you're familiar with the movies, you'll say, oh my God, I can't believe they really nailed it.
Well, I can't wait for this game because these are my favorite movies. So thank you so much for your time, Sean, and Lego Indies can be with us in June.
Absolutely.
Just give me a Lego version of Antonioni Salo, and it's perfect. But until then, catch the world's most amazing TV with G4's new nightly block of totally foreign shows, Duty Free TV. The block features Japanese favorite Ninja Warrior and its diabolical obstacle course, plus imported shows unseen here in the States, like Unbeatable Banzuke. Don't miss any of the action in Duty Free TV, G4's new nightly block. Weeknights at 8:30, it's only on G4. And check out g4tv.com/dutyfree for info and updates. We'll be back with more from GDC right after this.
Up next, we delve into Norse mythology and the long-awaited Too Human with the head of Silicon Knights, Dennis Dyack. You don't want to miss it. GDC 08 is brought to you by Duty Free TV, G4's new nightly block of totally foreign shows from around the world. Weeknights at 8:30, only on G4.
3717.
This show also available on G4 On Demand.
G4 is like being visited by a badass video game goddess who is way into tight circuit-laced apparel and digging up funny, obscure videos. Plus, she's all over the latest blogs, games, and high-tech gadgetry. This energy-clad goddess/sensei of digital goodness is plugged into what's going on. And therefore, my man, so are you. G4 is like that, basically.
Welcome back to X-Play's coverage of GDC 08 in San Francisco. As we all know, Norse mythology is based on the worship of giant beards, giant, manly Viking beards. Well, maybe that's just my understanding of it, but it's time now for the new world premiere footage of Dennis Dyack, Too Human.
All right, I'm so happy to be joined by the president of Silicon Knights, Dennis Dyack, who's also, more importantly, working on the long-awaited Too Human.
In Too Human, you play Baldur, the cybernetic god charged with the defense of mankind against an army of machines trying to wipe everyone out. And really, the game challenges you to think about trading off between, you know, machine and human parts.
Now, obviously, this plays into the RPG elements of the game. As you proceed through the game, you'll be able to, you know, change yourself. How is that leveling up or that modification of your character going to work in Too Human?
By picking, you know, sort of skill trees that lend towards cybernetic components or led towards human components, either lead towards more RPG, sort of statistical-based things, or more Twitch-based action, depending on which way you want to lean. When you play it, it definitely is visceral, it's definitely fast, but at the same time, there's this very, very deep RPG component that really we've never seen combined in the game before.
Obviously, there's been a lot of talk about how the combat works in the game. It's quite unique.
We've really put in things where you can juggle and do air combat, and we use the right stick for combat. So with guns, if you're pulling the triggers, you use the right stick to target your enemies. It's kind of like Geometry Wars. If you let go of the triggers, it's like Geometry Wars, except you string combats back and forth. You hit back and forth with your enemies, and you can do this thing called ping-ponging or attacking different enemies. And when you do that, it's a 2-in-1 combo. It increases your combo fuel. So the more sort of combinations weapons and sort of techniques that you use, the faster your meter goes, so you can start using things called runers and fierce attacks. And by doing all these things together, the more skilled players are going to be able to wipe out rooms.
What are the various classes that you can play as in Two Human?
We've got the Berserker, who is basically your melee class. There's the Defender, who is your tank, who's got tremendous amounts of armor, cannot be knocked down by missiles, and can really just about tank anything and take a lot of damage. There's your Champion, who excels in air combat and critical strikes, and he's balanced between both guns and melee weapons. And then we've got your Commando, who excels in explosive and gun combat. He's essentially your nuker. And then we've got the Biomechanic, who's kind of like your combat healer. And so he gets into combat, and he'll be able to heal people through nanotechnology.
How many times do you foresee an average gamer actually approaching Two Human and playing it through to get a unique experience?
Every time you take a class, and every time you pick up a different weapon set, you're going to get a different experience.
How many weapons are we looking at that are available inside of this game?
It's way, way, way in the millions. I couldn't, like, we have tons of, not only do we have different statistics, there's different bonuses, it's more than enough to exhaust any hardcore player's aspirations of playing this game for a long time.
Well, Dennis, as always, you got me excited for Two Human. I cannot wait to play it. Thanks so much for joining
Awesome.
us.
Thanks for having me, man. Really appreciate it.
That's all the time we have for GDC goodness today, but if you liked what you saw, we'll be back with even more tomorrow at 8. We'll be on site bringing you all the latest from gaming's first big event of the year.
And on tomorrow's show, our full coverage continues with Zero Punctuations. Ben Yaki Croshaw joins us on stage. He'll bring us a preview of his new Rock Band review.
Then we get barbaric and go hands-on with the world premiere demo of Age of Conan. You might want to sharpen your axes for this one.
Plus, later this week, we'll take an exclusive look at the long-awaited Street Fighter 4. Will Guile have a new hairdo? Did someone get Blanca fixed?
And make sure you stay tuned for our all-access look at Fable 2 with Peter Molyneux.
And for additional first looks and all the latest breaking news, head over to g4tv.com/xplay.
You are watching the weekend block of XPlay, and another episode is about to start. You guys are so lucky. It was so great to see the facial animation technique, how they make that happen behind the scenes, and the facial textures that they can get going on.
Yeah, I might be able to improve if I give myself over to them.
It could happen.